Good day and hello, my name is Brian. This video is, well, I guess I should put some basic initials out first. Is in this video and also in a lot of my other videos, um, I don't really script anything. The only one I actually did any, well, I didn't really do any scripting, I just basically put out some notes so I wouldn't forget how I put it down, was the tools of thought. You know, because I have so many, I want to make sure I didn't miss any. So, most of my videos are literally just me sitting here talking at the camera. There's actually no real script. Now, because of that, they're not exactly probably as cohesive as they could be. You know, I probably could script them out. And the same thing is also I do them all in one take. As opposed to most videos I see on YouTube and a few other ways, they always have these quick cuts and all these other things and stuff. I do all this stuff in one take, which can get annoying, as in, like right now, I'm actually at work and such, and it becomes really difficult to actually do this in one take because people randomly come in and I have to assist them. So, pretty much, like I said, that's one reason why there's verbal pauses here and there, because usually I'm thinking about, okay, how to explain what I want to talk about. Now, this one here is, I'm going to point out that one is, I'm not trying to be spiritual. I'm not trying to be religious. I'm not trying to be well, I am scientific. You know, I do like to work through problems in a methodical manner. I do try to be logical, and I also do a lot of thinking. Now, part of this one right here is sort of a, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase it without having it have too many negative connotations on how I could phrase it. But pretty much is I'm asking for help in some ways. Is I have a whole bunch of different ideas that I think would be very useful and very beneficial to a lot of different people. And one, of course, is I guess this sort of would be is if you actually want to try to get a loose grasp on an easy way to look at this would be to look at my golden rule variation video. Very simply, the idea is if you want to do something for yourself, do it for the community. Okay? Basically, is all these are all great ideas, things that I would love to have, but I don't just stop there. I also see, okay, how would they be good for everyone? And from there, that's how I work out a lot of the different things. It's like, gee, it'd be really cool to have a computer that could do this type of stuff. Cool, that's a really cool idea. Now, how could I do it so that everyone could have it? Or, you know, having free food. You know, because you could go and steal food or you could work for food. But the thing is, yeah, or having free internet. I could easily go hack something and get free internet pretty much anywhere that I really wanted to. But it'd be easier if everyone had free internet, because then I wouldn't have to hack, and of course everyone has free internet. There wouldn't be a problem. And that's sort of the way I look at a lot of the different problems. It's like, gee, I'd love to have this. Okay, well, I could do all this really hard effort to do it myself. Or, of course, if you're really skilled at something, you know, it's not as much effort for you eventually. But still, it's like, well, why do all that when you can just make it so that everyone has it in the first place? And so I have all these great ideas. I work through them, and I actually usually work on them over a long period of time, you know, working through all the different aspects of them. And when I actually start talking to them to people, the most common variation of a comment I get is, dude, you blew my mind. And it's sort of self-gratifying when I hear that, because it's like, cool, you know, I can do that to people. But I'm realizing, of course, partially the negatives of that in some ways also. And of course, I do realize the negative side is they also lose track of all the different points on it. It's a good way to hook people into listening to a conversation. But the thing is, because they're all locked on that thing, they lose track of the whole thing. And so when I talk about some of my projects, people only see bits and pieces of it, or they only remember bits and pieces of it. And they don't see all the negatives or the possible pieces and how it can basically not be beneficial. And a lot of my pieces are also highly interconnected in such that it's kind of hard to do one by itself to actually get the best effects out of it without actually having a few other pieces involved. And some of my stuff does take a lot more research than I can actually personally do at this time. So right now it's still in the theory mode, I guess you can say. You know, I've thought about it and I've done as much research as I personally can without actually having direct experience in whatever field it actually is. The two projects I've actually put up on the net here, one of them I can actually show that I can do a lot of research on it, and it makes a lot of solid sense, even though technically it's a theory because I haven't actually done any physical proof of concept on it. But other people have done things very, very, very similar, such that I could say that the proof of concept does exist, such as the wind mapping. Now, the thing is, a lot of people get lost in what you can do with it and not necessarily how you do it. And that's a good example with that. Now, that one I put a lot of thought in, and I've also worked my way backwards and forwards on it, and you can always add to it. But the thing is, from this is the basic level that you can work on to be able to build onto first. It's the initial framework. Now, the other project I put on here was medical trapping. Now, that one is not within my field of experience, because I'm not a medical or biological scientist or study or doctor or anything in that way, shape, or form. So that one, I guess you could say, is almost pure theory. Well, not really, because, you know, like I said, it's based on some basic ideas cobbled together, and it makes sense. Now, whether or not it's actually possible, I don't know, because I don't know if there is actually a proof of concept of how this could actually work. But I have a lot of more solid ideas, which make a lot of sense. Now, one other thing a lot of people say about a lot of my ideas is, dude, why don't you do that? You can make so much money off that. That's not the point of the ideas. And if you've watched this video here, as like I said, is the idea of most of these videos is, I'd love to have this. And then, of course, I think about, well, would anyone else like to have this? And part of it, I sometimes ask people, and that leads into doing all the other stuff. And part of the point is, if you try to make money off some of these things, it sort of kills the whole purpose of what they are in the first place. You know, it isn't as beneficial. And I'm not looking to have a mansion or anything else. I'm happy with just having like an apartment or anything else and just do it that way. I don't need all the cash. The only cash I need is to actually get the project going in the first place. All right, have a beautiful day.